Here we are. It is Monday night. I'm going to play a few hands through Poker Tracker. This session I did not have on live camera, which is really unfortunate because it was really a wild one. But I've got the hands. I'm going to replay them in the significant hands that I had. Replay them in Poker Tracker and kind of show you how things progressed. This weekend I played and just had an awful weekend. Just awful. Just terrible. Either bad cards or bad calls or bad beats or it was just a terrible weekend. And at the end of it, I didn't feel like making a movie or editing a movie or anything, so I just tossed the whole thing away and sat down tonight, really not expecting to do anything, just play a few hands, just get back on the horse, so to speak. And, yeah, we got on the horse all right. I'm not sure what kind. We'll start with this hand here. I'm in here with a king nine. I go ahead and raise it. I get a re-raise on the button there. So, been reading Card Runners and been reading that article that was pointed out in one of the about, play your hands fast and re-raise. So, naturally, that's the very first thing I do. And here's what happens. So I went ahead and folded it away and kind of gave up on that one. All right, a few hands later, I've got ace-10 on the button. So I go ahead and raise it up and get one caller. And this was... I have no idea what I was thinking right now. I have no idea. But, like I said, I've been reading that article, and I just thought this would be a good play. I'd get him out of here, and that'd be the end of it. But no, he goes ahead and calls it. And he shouldn't have. Because this is what happened. Okay, so people are watching this whole affair while I'm doing all this, and I suppose some of them are taking note. Alrighty, I turned the cards over so you don't see how it's developing here, but anyhow, so off we go. Just a little minute, just basically was trying to steal the blinds. I've learned since, subsequently, this guy just doesn't give up, so don't do it for 18 or 20 or something, and he might go away. So anyhow, I flop the top pair, and I go ahead and I'm not getting too out of hand here, and I get a re-raise. So I'm saying, okay, well, that looks like a flush draw to me. So I go ahead and re-raise it pretty good, figuring, okay, just make sure it doesn't have any odds. And I get a call, and the flush doesn't come. So I go ahead and pop it really good here. Not really good. I made a pot-sized bet and get a pot-sized call. And then I just check it down. He checks it down, and lo and behold, he's calling me down with 8 with a kind of a bad kicker. So that was a fortuitous hand. Picked up a nice pot. And again, it just was building my image for anybody that wanted to. My image, being a complete idiot, might have been the image I was building. But anyhow, they were watching. Okay, so this hand had Jack on the button. Since there are no limpers, I just did my standard 4x raise, got one caller. Did not play this terribly. I went ahead and bet it out, and I got a nice raise, and did a kind of a min raise since there wasn't anything horribly threatening. All over the weekend, I did exactly the same play with kings, with a 9-7. Or something sitting in here. And so I lost the hand to a guy that had called a pretty good raise he had 9-7 suited and made a well-disguised straight right here and busted me. And that was the way my weekend went, which is why you haven't seen anything of it. So I get the raise, and then I'm not sure what in the devil I was thinking, but I checked behind just who knows what I'm thinking with that out here. I'm thinking idiot thoughts, I guess. So anyhow, he checks, I check, and then look what happens here. Good grief almighty. Okay, so he bets. All I can do at this point is call. And I'm feeling stupider and figuring I'm going to feel broker in a minute. And he turns over a set of sixes, and if that stupid diamond hadn't fall, I would have gone ahead and cleaned him out. And if I hadn't have checked that behind him, because obviously what he was going to do was check raise. I'm sure that's what his thinking was. If I had gone ahead and made some kind of bet, he would have probably pushed, and then that would have been that. But as it was, I left a fair amount of, because of my check and then the flush coming. I left a fair amount of money on the table. That's the way it goes. I'm not sure why I did that, but that's an idiot move. There was plenty of money in the pot in the first place. Fire out there, and I could have pushed and he would have called. Bad play on my part. Okay. All right, a few hands had passed, and I've been lagging it up a little bit. Nothing significant. I mean, you win a few, had to lay down a few. I think I had to call down once on kind of a mild bluff. So I'd been doing my best to kind of play poker, and basically played even. I hadn't took any bad beats or stupid beats, and I hadn't won any big pots. But I had been lagging it up. So that set the scene for what comes. 10-9 suited. Basically, I'm trying to steal the pot here. I mean, I'm betting, but what I'm trying to do is just get everybody out. And of course, my friend here calls immediately, and I get one caller over here. So here's the flop. Pretty good flop for me, as promised. Get a check here, so I go ahead and I'm trying to steal a pot again, and so I get a re-raise here, and what I did next is something to behold. I called. Okay. I thought I remembered it shows. I just played this hand a little while ago. It shows I forget what I did. I thought I'd re-raise, but no, I just called it. Okay, then I get my flush here. So I'll get a $200 bet into that. So I went ahead and pushed all in, thinking that hopefully my laggy play would think that I was trying to steal a pot with a high king. And I'm figuring, a set, or perhaps, king with a kicker, or king ace. Those are hands I'm not thinking flush. So I don't know why I'm not thinking flush, but I'm not. So we get the call and play it out, and lo and behold, set of threes. Okay, so that's one of the hands I thought was out there, a set of threes, and sure enough, it played out exactly the way it's scripted. So I won a very nice pot, probably the nicest pot I've ever won playing poker, and it's because that I had both been lagging it up because I'd been reading a little bit of card runners and trying to apply what they've said, and because if you go back to where it started, we had very deep stacks. So this play that I made, just trying to see this. There's a check. Okay, clever. Now that we know she had a set of threes, checking in there. I'm doing just exactly what I'm scripted to do, trying to steal with a flush draw. Now I'm expected to lay this down, and but that's if you look at what's all in there, that isn't bad. Also, when this flopped, I typed in, and I don't know if she was watching the chat, but I say she is a UW girl, which makes me think she's from University of Washington if she is a girl, because UW, that's what we call University of Washington, which happens to be where I graduated from some years ago, more years than I'm really interested in divulging. But somebody asked, I should say a little more about myself. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. Spent 4 years in the submarine service in 1966 to 1970, so that will probably clue you in a little bit as to what era I am. I'm a fossil, no doubt. So anyhow, we played this out, and I was quite pleased with the way it turned out. This is the very next hand. Very next hand. So I've got a pair of nines, and I just call that. Substantial raise. This fella's been watching us, I think. So it was getting where everybody was making oversized raises, so I'm sitting here. Remember, he just saw this play one hand before, so I checked it to him. He bet a 70, $94 pot, a substantial bet. I re-raised him 185, thinking he probably had missed. That hopefully he would just lay this down, and having missed his hand, and that's exactly what happened, which pleased me no end, I might add. So anyhow, that was the very next hand after that. And this is the very next hand after that. So you've just seen this is the third of 3 hands in a row. And we go along here and get a pretty substantial raise out of UW girl. And I go ahead and call that. Seeming, I'm listening to Taylor and Andrew and all those guys, and they're saying, okay, yeah, I had position on her, and I had 10 king queen. Okay, just call that. I figured that everybody else went away, and they did. So, oh boy, look at here, what I got. Alrighty, so I go ahead and check that around. She makes a substantial bet. I come back and make a very substantial bet, which essentially is telling her play for your stack or fold. She plays for her stack, and that card comes. Sort of a sucky card, and indeed it spelled my ultimate downfall, because she had done all that with king ace. Do note that when money went into the pot, I was ahead. She had the king. The ace was yet to come. So, but it didn't change this number any. So payback is fair play, I guess. So that was that hand. Okay, all was not peaches and cream though. Even though that last hand wasn't exactly peaches and cream. So I've got ace queen here. Get a little raise. I go ahead and do just what I'm told to do, which is re-raise it. Has absolutely not the effect that it's supposed to have. Get that flop, total miss. So I go ahead and check this down, and it gets checked around. So I go ahead and now I figure, okay, I'm going to go ahead and bet this, because I may well have the best hand. Although with 2 people calling, I'm hard pressed to believe it, but I go ahead and make a shot at it, get 2 callers, and everybody checks down, because I'm not going to go after that again. So I got no chance, especially with this guy. So everybody shows down, and sure enough, if I could have possibly gotten that ace, things would have been hunky dory, but it didn't come, and that wasn't bad. I'm not sure that taking the stab at the pot was advisable. I thought it was. I thought maybe they'd just lay it down, figuring, okay, nobody has anything, and, I've got a pair of nines maybe or something, and they would give it up. But, nope, I had plenty of company on that one. Okay, a couple of hands later, got that jack, and I got it in the big blind, so I raised substantially, because I just would really like to I hate jacks. Can't stand the damn hand. But I get a caller, my friend here. So anyhow, thank you. I check it. He does a little min bet behind me. I go ahead. I say, all right, this guy would min bet on a draw, and he would also min bet a pair of eights, a pair of sevens. He would also min bet a queen, so what do I know? So he calls me, and I just check it down. Now he decided to give up on that. I check it down again. He checks it down, and he had A7. So if he had played that hard enough, I think if he had played that like he had a queen, I think he could have made me lay that down. I just don't get fond of jacks, and I won't play them hardly at all when an overcard flops. But anyhow, they got away with that one, and it was a nice pot. Okay, had 10-10. Go ahead, and we have a whole bunch of razors here. So I go ahead, and I'm going to try to take it down now, figuring, okay, at this point I probably have the best hand. I was tempted to push it for 100, but push for 80 instead, 20 to 50 in the... So it's a substantial, and then it's 70 to this fellow and 60 to each of these just to call. So naturally I get him to push all in, and gave it up. No, I'm not going to play. So I gave it up, and it only cost me $80. I feel pretty sure that if I'd have called that, I was beat. Okay, so far we've had a wild evening, and in between these hands, particularly me and this fella here have had a little fun with each other. I've been picking on this one as most I can. The rest of these guys have just been along for the ride. This guy's tight. This is a tight grinder. He's a tight grinder, basically. So this guy was fairly new, and I don't know. I have a whole lot of history on these two fellas. So like I said, we've been bouncing each other around, but nothing significant's happened. Had to lay down that pair of tens. So we get checked around. I get set, but he got a flush on the board. So I go ahead and raise the pot substantially, or 20. It wasn't that substantial. Okay. Right now I'm putting him, the worst case, squarely on a flush draw. It doesn't come. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this pot right down right now, I think. I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to fool with it. I want it now. If you want to draw that heart, pay up. Okay, so he pays up, and if the heart falls, he's not getting another penny. I can assure you, he won't get another copper penny. So just in case anybody figured out who I am, and figures out that they're gonna call this sort of thing and get more money out of me, you're not. I'm not worth your while to do so, and I'm not stupid enough to, if the heart comes, I don't care if you've got a deuce of diamonds and a six of clubs. I am not calling. So the 9. So there's nothing on the board that's terribly frightening to me. He bets 100 into it, which is, I don't know whether he's betting his busted flush or, if he's got a king of some sort. So I go ahead and say, well, if it's a busted flush, you just gave me $100, thank you very much. And if you got some hand, let's see how well you like it, because I kind of like mine. And he calls me and turns over King 9, which means he hit the absolute worst hand on the river that he could possibly have hit. And I have done that so many times, it's just aggravating. No end, because you gotta put me on a high king with my actions, or maybe 10-4 since the pot wasn't raised. But it's just awful when you get that, because okay, now I've got a really good hand. I bet out the 100, figured at best he's going to get a call. He gets to re-raise, and I think. Again, the action that preceded this, with all the goofy calling and raising and pushing and all the nonsense that had gone on, probably affected his thinking a little bit, which I think is a good thing. Let me just be very careful to note that I am quite cognizant of the fact that this only works when the cards fall the right way. It's an excellent way to go broke, and you have to do 2 or 3 buy-ins if the cards don't go your way, but here they'd gone my way very early on, so but I am also aware that I'm not a genius, that I was helped out a lot by the cards. Okay, this is my card runner special here. And I've got jack 10 on the button. I raise it up and get a re-raise. Go ahead and just call that. I've got position, and we'll see what the flop brings. Well, it brings straight possibilities and a flush, which isn't going to help me much. So I get a $7, and I said, no. Let's not do that. So I get a guy and say, okay, well, maybe he's got a pair of queens. I got a queen, so I go ahead and he bets $10. And I'm saying, no, there's not a chance. Well, there's a chance because he could play a queen that way. He could. So I call it. I say, okay, if you were drawn to the flush that way, I'm waiting for that ace to fall. It does not fall. He bets I'm not sure what to make of this, and so I respond this way. And I'm figuring, if this was just some clever way of inducing me to call with a stupid hand or busted flush or something when he's got the queen, it wasn't. He laid it down and dragged a nice pot. Afterwards, I lied through my teeth, no end, telling him that I had 3 kings. I don't know if he believed me or not, but I certainly tried to sell that. Okay, final hand tonight. My favorite hand, my very favorite hand, is so I go ahead and give it a nice raise because, again, I'd just soon end the whole shooting match right now. And naturally, I get 2 callers. So we get kind of a decent flop for me. So I'm not one to squander an opportunity here. I hate this hand, and I'm just, all I can see here is 9-6, although I raised it substantially, so I'm not sure what I'm so worried about. And I'm really wishing these people would just go away. And he calls it, and nothing particularly interesting comes. He probably didn't call that big raise up front for the 4-5. Even 4-5 suited would have been a bit of a stretch, but I've lost to this sort of thing before. So he checks it, which of course he would exactly do if he had 4-5, but I'm not buying it, so I go ahead and check it down. And he checks, and I go ahead and bet $50. And he calls $50, which then makes me feel like I probably won the pot, and indeed I did. He had a pair of 8s. So I could have made a couple of value bets there, but fundamental theory of poker, yeah, he actually won that hand, sort of, because had I known what he had, I certainly would have played that differently. But the reason I was so shy is because I lost, some hands where they'd call big raises with 4-5 suited or 9-7 suited, and I'm just saying, there's no point. And this guy's fairly deep stacked. He's got a buy-in plus, so he could have done some damage if that's what he was pulling. So I'm not really interested in getting all that involved. Now, maybe that's being just weak, but I'll tell you what, this weekend I got bloodied, beaten, turned everywhere but loose to hands like that. So that made me a little gun shy, but in this case it worked out all right. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope I didn't rattle on so long that I don't get to do it on the flash instead of WMV, but we'll see what happens. Have a good evening.